was born with a sharp, mean tongue. When the orphanage director said she dreamed about her ex-husband, I said, only dead people appear in dreams. When a kidnapper tried to trick the neighbor's kid, I said, don't answer. Evil spirits are trying to possess you. Until I was brought back to a wealthy family. I found the fake daughter who hated me was being harassed by a scumbag. I asked harshly, only evil ghosts cling to people like that. Have you seen an exorcist? She wouldn't listen and went crazy trying to find him. You don't understand. He just video called me and looked at me so lovingly. He must really love me. I said pigs stare at people before they eat them. The fake daughter went quiet. My parents gave me $100,000, encouraging me to keep going. Keep it up. Whether we can cure her depends on you. But then I discovered there was also someone in the house obsessed with self-murder. This was gonna cost extra. The day the wealthy family came to get me, Director Sarah warned me dozens of times. Remember, act normal for 5 minutes. Enjoy wealth and luxury for a lifetime. You absolutely must control your mouth. So when my parents hugged me and cried, feeling sorry for what I'd been through, I held back my mean comment. Are you trying to pickle me with all those tears? I was smart, beautiful, and valedictorian. Anyone could see the orphanage had raised me well. But from childhood, I was a bit different from other kids. I had a sharp, mean tongue. Once, when the director woke up at night, drinking, and missing her cheating ex-husband, young me would comment harshly, only dead people appear in dreams. She was troubled. But my ex-husband is all I can think about. I can't forget him. The living and dead shouldn't mix. He wants to take your life. From then on, the director never dared think about her ex-husband again. She valued her life. Later, when a caregiver was scammed out of $20,000 by an online boyfriend who then dumped her, she blamed herself for being too poor to keep him and cried every day. I comforted her. Although your mind hasn't matured, your skin and bones are already getting loose. But don't worry, at least your wallet's still tight. The caregiver gritted her teeth. If you weren't a kid, I'd definitely beat you to death. If you kill me, you break the law. If I kill you, I'm protected by law. That day, the caregiver got so angry she signed up for law school. No longer dwelling on her ex, just wanting to legally destroy me. After successfully becoming a lawyer earning hundreds of thousands a year, she still couldn't bear to hurt me. She just rubbed my head inside. With that mouth of yours, how will you survive in society when you grow if anyone beats me up? I'll call you to be my lawyer. What was there to fear? I was cautious of others. But I could also be harmful. But everyone I met was good to me. I felt lucky. Now even greater luck had come. The wealthy Johnson family from the city said I was their lost daughter. For wealth and luxury, I held my tongue the entire trip. Even when I got home and met the fake daughter and adopted brother, I played mute. My parents introduced me. Lily, these are the children of Mom and Dad's friends. After their parents died in an accident, we adopted them. From now on, they're your brother and sister. My brother was expressionless. My sister looked cold. Neither liked me. That was fine. I didn't like people who disliked me either. After all, I came back with my own agenda. At dinner, Sister Jessica was first to attack me. I had a pork chop in my left hand, chicken leg in my right. She held a plate of boiled vegetables, mocking me, typical of someone who's never seen the world. Just loving that greasy junk food. Don't you know boiled vegetables are healthiest? I struggled to hold back my sharp tongue. Mom quickly signaled Jessica to shut up, whispering, don't talk about things you don't understand. Your sister's orphanage only served meat once a week, and the school cafeteria was purely vegetarian. She had it rough. Jessica fell silent. She pushed her boiled vegetables over. Hey, do you want some? Buzz buzz. Suddenly her phone showed an incoming video call. She immediately answered. Being close, I glimpsed the man on screen. Bad and ugly. Completely different league from fair-skinned, beautiful Jessica. But the man called her baby. Did you eat your diet meal tonight like a good girl? Let me see. Jessica quickly pulled back the boiled vegetables, showing them to the camera. The man was satisfied. Good girl. It's not that I'm being picky, baby. But other guys' girlfriends are 5 feet 7 inches, and under 100 pounds. You're 140 pounds. I lose face bringing you out. Being too fat affects your health. I'm doing this for your own good. But you haven't lost 5 pounds this week. I need to teach you a lesson. Transfer me 10,000 as punishment. Okay, Jessica happily transferred the money. My parents' faces turned dark. They complained to me in frustration. We don't know what spell that pig cast on your sister. He keeps finding ways to ask her for money and manipulates her about being fat, giving her an eating disorder. She's obsessed with boiled vegetables for weight loss and almost had heart damage last month. Your father and I have tried everything to make them break up, but she keeps begging him to get back together. Oh, a love brain case? I couldn't hold back anymore. I leaned over. Jessica had already hung up. I asked harshly, only evil spirits cling to people like that. Have you seen an exorcist, sis? She got agitated. What do you know? Kevin is so good to me. He just doesn't look good on camera. I understood. You have a fetish for ugly guys. Looks aren't everything. Jessica argued with me. Kevin remembers my period and buys me brown sugar on time. He loves me to the bone. Did you taste his bone marrow to figure that out? Jessica moved her lips, unable to argue back. Her phone received another message from Kevin. I'm sleeping at a hotel tonight. Want to keep me company, baby? She jumped out. Mom. Dad. You eat first. I need to go find Kevin. Smack. My parents almost simultaneously slammed down their chopsticks. Having had enough. If you dare leave today, we won't recognize you as our daughter. Kevin doesn't love you at all. He loves money. Jessica fell to her knees, tears in her eyes. But I really love Kevin. I can't control myself. Dad. Mom. Please. Just let me go. You don't understand. He just video called me and looked at me so lovingly. His eyes full of me. He must really love me too. I couldn't control my mouth again. That's not love. Pigs stare at people before they eat them. Jessica instantly went quiet. Her big eyes filled with confusion. What do you mean? I directly pulled up news videos of pigs eating people. The way pigs stared at people looked exactly like Kevin just had. I whispered like a demon in Jessica's ear. Sister? He's craving your meat. Shut up. Piercing screams echoed through the mansion. Jessica was so scared she rolled and crawled back to her room, slamming and locking the door. She definitely wasn't coming out tonight, because I'd be playing the videos on loop outside. Parents were stunned. Can't tell if she's being mean, or if she's a demon child. Lily, here's 100,000. Reward for doing so well tonight. Whether we can cure her love brain depends on you. A bank card was stuffed in my hand and my eyes lit up. Leave it to me. Mom and Dad. I went upstairs happily. But I discovered a human-shaped ornament hanging under the crystal chandelier in the hallway. Broad shoulders. Narrow waist. Long legs. Pretty realistic. Getting closer. I could see clearly. It was my brother Jake. I looked up. Jake stood on a stool with a rope around his neck. His handsome face unrealistically good-looking. Brother, what are you doing? He spoke eerily. I want to have a relationship with this rope. Let it keep me. Are you sure this isn't self-murder by hanging? Jake corrected me. This is called life swaying in the wind. Oh, an intellectual type. He looked at his phone melancholically. Emma won't reply to my messages anyway. What's the point of living? I glanced at the chat window. All green bubbles. All his messages. I couldn't hold back my sharp tongue. Is there some cashback reward for waiting for her messages? You don't understand. This is called masochistic love. I really didn't understand. If you like masochistic love, why not date an old lady? You could experience life and death separation while having feelings no one understands. Jake choked. His phone received a message from Emma. Don't send messages anymore. My boyfriend won't be happy. He immediately typed. When's your boyfriend not around? I'll send messages at different times. I stared wide-eyed. One love brain, one sip. Was the Johnson family's feng shui this bad? Emma didn't reply. And Jake went back to his hanging rope. I quickly tried to talk him out of it. Brother, don't always think you're so important. Even if you hang here gasping for air, Emma will still be over there with her boyfriend gasping for air, while making out. Jake trembled. His defenses crumbled. He cried like a boiling cat. I panicked. Don't make it look like I bullied you. Seeing my parents drawn by the crying, my heart tightened. I can explain. Great. Jake finally cried. Me? Question mark. My parents said, your brother's been played by a girl named Emma. She dates someone else while keeping your brother on a string for money, bags and jewelry. Treating him like a simp backup. Whenever your brother wants to give up, Emma gives him hope. Back and forth like this. He got depressed and tries to kill himself every few days. The doctor says he's too repressed and needs to release emotions. Your father and I beat him several times but couldn't make him cry. You really have a way. I pondered. Treating two people. This should cost extra. Dad seemed to guess what I was thinking and operated his phone. Lily. Cure your brother too. 50,000 deposited. Indeed. Simps were cheap. Even the treatment fee was half price. My parents stared at the crying Jake like they were witnessing a medical miracle. Mom even wiped tears from her eyes. 3 psychiatrists, she whispered. 3. None of them managed this. Dad looked at me like he'd discovered a national treasure. Lily, he said solemnly, you were born for this family. I accepted the praise calmly while checking my bank app. The 50,000 had indeed arrived. Very good. At this rate I could retire before adulthood. Jake sat on the floor under the chandelier looking devastated, still clutching his phone like a widow receiving wartime letters. I crouched beside him. Brother. He looked up with red eyes. What? Have you considered that Emma doesn't hate you? Hope instantly returned to his face. I knew it. She just finds you convenient. Like a food delivery app. His expression froze again. I continued kindly. You send money fast, answer instantly, and cry on command. If apps could kneel, you'd be one. Jake covered his chest like I'd stabbed him. My parents looked relieved. Apparently emotional damage counted as treatment in this house. Buzz. Jake's phone lit up again. Emma had replied. Sorry. I didn't mean to be harsh earlier. You know you're still important to me. Jake's breathing quickened. She still cares about me. I grabbed the phone before he could type. Then I looked at the message history. Transfers. Jewelry receipts. Hotel bookings. Luxury skincare purchases. Concert tickets. I scrolled for a full minute before finally asking, Brother, are you sponsoring her life or rebuilding the economy? Jake defended weakly, love requires sacrifice. I nodded thoughtfully. So does farming. The pigs still get eaten. He almost fainted. Dad looked impressed. Mom directly transferred me another 20,000. Performance bonus, she whispered. This family really understood workplace motivation. The next morning, Jessica emerged from her room with giant dark circles. Apparently the pig videos worked too well. She looked at me like I was radioactive. At breakfast she cautiously pushed away her boiled vegetables and picked up a meat bun instead. Mom nearly cried into her soy milk. Jessica noticed our expressions and became embarrassed. What? I just suddenly felt. Pigs are scary. I nodded approvingly. Correct. They eat everything. Her face turned pale again. At that moment her phone rang. Kevin. Jessica jumped like she'd seen a horror movie ghost. The entire table stared at her. Her hand trembled before answering. Kevin's lazy voice came through immediately. Baby, why'd you ignore me last night? Jessica swallowed nervously. I slept early. You didn't even transfer my hotel money. I forgot. Kevin sounded unhappy. You forgot? Are you playing games with me now? Jessica subconsciously glanced at me. I smiled warmly. Ask him how many women he says baby to daily. Jessica hesitated before actually asking. Silence. Then Kevin exploded. Who's beside you? I answered loudly. The exorcist. Click. He hung up. Jessica stared at the disconnected call in shock. I calmly bit into my bun. See? Evil spirits fear righteous energy. Mom turned away, shoulders shaking. She was trying not to laugh. Dad failed completely and sprayed tea everywhere. Meanwhile Jake sat there looking miserable. He suddenly asked me quietly, Lily, do you think Emma ever loved me even a little? I looked at his chat history again. then at his expensive watch. Emma cried beautifully. Not ugly crying. Not nose-running crying. The elegant kind where tears rolled down slowly like expensive skincare commercials. Jake immediately lost all ability to think. His hands hovered awkwardly around her shoulders. Did he hurt you badly? Emma bit her lip weakly. He misunderstood my relationship with you. I almost applauded. Top-tier performance. Even her pauses were emotionally manipulative. Jake's breathing became unsteady. You should break up with him. Emma lowered her head sadly. I can't. Why not? I love him. Jake looked like someone had poured acid directly into his soul. Amazing. Even while seeking refuge, she still remembered to stab the backup man emotionally. Efficient queen. Mom already looked furious. Dad's blood pressure was visibly climbing. Only I remained professionally calm. After all, this was my workplace. Emma finally noticed me standing nearby. Her eyes flickered subtly. Probably because I looked nothing like the sweet obedient type she expected. She forced a smile. You must be Lily. Jake talks about you a lot. Oh. I looked at Jake. He still talks after all this suffering? Jake looked wounded again. Emma quickly changed the topic. I actually came because I have nowhere else to go tonight. Jake instantly answered. You can stay here. I interrupted immediately. No ghosts allowed after midnight. Everyone turned toward me. Emma blinked innocently. What? I pointed at her neck. There's resentment energy around you. Emma's face stiffened for half a second. Tiny. But I caught it. Interesting. A skilled player. Jake immediately defended her. Lily, don't say weird things. I ignored him and continued staring at Emma thoughtfully. Usually this kind of energy appears when someone owes too many emotional debts. Emma forced out a laugh. You're funny. No, I corrected. I'm expensive. Dad coughed violently, trying to hide his laughter. Emma stayed for dinner. She sat beside Jake naturally, like she already belonged there. Every time Jake served her food, she smiled softly at him. Every time he looked hopeful, she mentioned her boyfriend again. Professional emotional edging. Even I almost respected it. At one point she sighed sadly. My boyfriend says men and women can't just be friends. I nodded. He's right. One side is usually unemployed emotionally. Jake looked like he'd been shot. Emma's smile almost cracked. Jessica secretly kicked me under the table. Apparently she thought I was too mean. Interesting. Yesterday she was being farmed like premium pork, and today she had opinions. During dessert, Emma's phone suddenly rang. Her face changed slightly when she saw the caller ID. Jake noticed immediately. Is it him? Emma looked distressed. I should answer. She walked toward the balcony. But because the balcony doors were thin, everyone could still hear everything clearly. A man's furious voice exploded through the phone. Where are you? Emma sounded panicked. I told you, I'm at a friend's house. A male friend. Silence. Then, smack. A loud hitting sound came through the phone. Mom gasped. Jake surged up from his chair so violently the table shook. You hit her. Emma hurried back inside, crying harder now. Real panic had finally appeared on her face. Interesting. Looks like this boyfriend wasn't part of her controlled script. Jake grabbed her shoulders. I'm calling the police. No. Emma clutched him desperately. If he gets arrested, his life will be ruined. I almost choked on my cake. Jake looked heartbroken. He hit you. Emma sobbed. He was just angry because he loves me too much. Oh no. Not another one. Was stupidity contagious in attractive people? Even Jessica looked disturbed now. Probably because hearing someone else say the same nonsense sounded insane. I leaned back in my chair. Brother, I said calmly, congratulations. Jake looked confused. For what? You finally found someone even dumber than you. Emma froze. Dad turned away immediately. His shoulders started shaking again. Mom pressed her lips together so hard they disappeared. Jessica snorted juice out of her nose. Jake looked conflicted between anger and agreement. Emma burst into tears harder. I knew your family hated me. She turned and ran dramatically toward the front door. Jake panicked instantly. Emma. He chased after her without even putting on shoes. The mansion doors slammed open. Then, slam. A man punched Jake directly in the face the second he stepped outside. Jake flew backward dramatically. Emma screamed. A tall man stormed into the mansion like an angry gorilla in designer clothes. The boyfriend had arrived personally. He looked around furiously before locking onto Emma. So this is the rich simp you cry to every time we fight? The entire mansion went silent. Jake lay on the marble floor holding his face in disbelief. Emma screamed and rushed toward the boyfriend. Ryan, stop. Ryan shoved her aside without even looking at her. You shut up. Interesting. So this was the legendary boyfriend. In person he somehow looked even worse than his profile pictures. Like somebody stretched anger over a gym membership. Dad stood slowly. His expression turned cold. You hit my son in my house? Ryan sneered. Your son keeps harassing my girlfriend. Jake staggered up furiously. She comes to me every time you treat her badly. Ryan laughed mockingly. And he still fell for it. Pathetic. Oof. Direct critical damage. Jake's face turned white. Emma grabbed Ryan desperately. Please stop talking. Ryan snapped at her immediately. You told me he was just an ATM with feelings. The room froze. Even the chandelier seemed stunned. Jake's lips parted slightly. What? Emma's face lost all color. Ryan realized he'd said too much, but it was already over. I quietly grabbed a macaroon from the dessert tray. Things were getting good. Jake stared at Emma shakily. A team with feelings? Emma panicked. No, Jake, listen to me. You said that. His voice cracked. Ryan folded his arms. She says a lot worse. You think she actually likes you? She calls you emergency food. Jessica gasped. Mom looked ready to faint. Dad looked ready to kill. Meanwhile, I mentally upgraded Ryan from gorilla to useful gorilla. Jake looked like his soul had exited his body. Emma cried harder. He's twisting my words. Ryan barked a laugh. You literally saved his contact as wallet number 2. Jake immediately grabbed his phone with trembling hands. Emma lunged for it. Too late. Jake's face emptied completely. Apparently the contact name was real. Oh, this was catastrophic. Even I felt a little emotional. Not sad emotional. Entertainment emotional. Jake laughed suddenly. Not normal laughter. The kind people do right before becoming news headlines. Mom panicked. Jake. He looked at Emma with bloodshot eyes. So every time you cried to me? Emma sobbed helplessly. I was confused. Every gift. I appreciated them. Every I miss you. Emma couldn't answer. Because lies have expiration dates. Ryan helpfully answered for her. She sent those while lying in my bed. Nuclear strike. Jake went completely still. Then he calmly took off the expensive watch on his wrist. The same watch he once bragged Emma picked out personally. He dropped it into the indoor koi pond. Splash. Then the bracelet. Splash. Then his phone. Emma screamed. Jake. He ignored her completely. Interesting. The simp software was finally uninstalling. Dad looked close to tears from pride. Meanwhile, Ryan's attention shifted around the mansion greedily. You people are loaded. And there it was. The real personality. Ryan suddenly pointed at Emma. You know how much money she spent on me? Hundreds of thousands. Tell your little rich boy to stop crying over it. Dad's face darkened instantly. Hundreds of thousands? Emma froze. Tiny mistake. Very tiny. But fatal. Mom's voice turned terrifyingly soft. Emma, how much money exactly? Emma's mouth moved weakly. No, not that much. Dad barked at the butler. Bring me her card statements. Oh. Beautiful. Emma's face collapsed instantly. Ryan realized things were turning dangerous, and immediately switched targets. Hey, don't drag me into your family drama. She gave me those gifts willingly. I tilted my head. Didn't you demand money after insulting her weight? Ryan scoffed. She is fat. Jessica dropped her fork slowly. The room temperature changed. Oh no. He accidentally hit the recovering patient directly on the trauma wound. Jessica stood up quietly. Very quietly. Usually when people got quiet in stories, it meant emotional maturity. In reality, it meant violence was loading. You called me fat? Ryan looked her up and down arrogantly. If the shoe fits. Jessica grabbed the boiling soup beside her. Dad shouted, "Jessica." Too late. Splash. The soup hit Ryan directly in the chest. He screamed. Emma screamed louder. Jake stared blankly like a war veteran. And I finally understood. This family didn't need healing. It needed supervision. Ryan howled in pain while hopping around the dining room clutching his chest. Jessica stood there breathing heavily, still holding the empty soup bowl like a warrior who'd just defended her homeland. Honestly, progress. 3 days ago she would have apologized and transferred him compensation money. Now she was weaponizing broth. Personal growth. Emma rushed toward Ryan in panic. "Are you okay?" Ryan slapped her hand away furiously. "You crazy bitch." Jessica instantly picked up another bowl. Ryan flinched. Excellent reflexes. Survival instinct was developing. Dad finally exploded. Enough. The entire mansion fell silent. Even the butler froze mid-breath. Dad pointed at Emma first. "You used my son like a backup wallet for years." Then at Ryan. "And you extorted my daughter while insulting her." Finally he looked at Jake and Jessica. "And you two nearly destroyed yourselves for people who wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire." Jake lowered his head in shame. Jessica looked like she wanted the earth to swallow her whole. Mom sat down slowly, rubbing her temples. "I raised 4 children," she murmured weakly. 2 came defective. I raised my hand. "Technically you only raised 3. Mom pointed at me immediately. "Only Lily works properly." Correct. At last this family recognized talent. Security finally arrived and dragged Ryan out while he screamed threats about lawsuits. Dad laughed coldly. "My lawyers bill by the hour. Your entire bloodline bills by the bus fare." The doors slammed shut behind him. Then everyone looked at Emma. The atmosphere changed instantly. Without Ryan there, she suddenly looked smaller. Less beautiful too. Interesting. Manipulators really did rely heavily on audience lighting. Emma burst into tears again. But this time nobody moved to comfort her. Not even Jake. She looked at him desperately. "Jake, please say something." Jake stared at her quietly for a long time. Then he asked one question. "Did you ever love me at all?" Emma opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. And that hesitation answered everything. Jake laughed softly. A tired laugh this time. Not crazy. Not broken. Just done. He walked upstairs without another word. Emma finally panicked for real. "Jake." He didn't look back. Emma started crying harder. Mom sighed. "Emma. We raised you for 15 years. We loved you like our own daughter." Emma trembled. "But love isn't permission to destroy people." Dad's voice was colder. "You'll still be financially supported until graduation. We won't abandon you." Hope immediately appeared in Emma's eyes. Then Dad continued. "But your cards are frozen. Your luxury apartment is gone. And from now on every expense goes through accounting." Her face shattered instantly. There it was. The real heartbreak. Not Jake leaving. Not Ryan insulting her. The money restrictions. I almost respected the honesty. Emma whispered shakily. "You're treating me like a criminal." Dad replied calmly. "No. Criminals are usually more grateful." She burst into tears and ran upstairs dramatically. No one chased her. Silence filled the dining room afterward. Jessica suddenly sat beside me awkwardly. "Do pigs really stare at people before eating them?" "Yes." She looked disturbed again. "Good." Fear was educational. A few weeks later, the mansion became peaceful. Suspiciously peaceful. Jessica slowly recovered from her eating disorder after I described parasites every time she mentioned dieting. Jake deleted Emma from everything after discovering she had secretly been talking to 3 additional, emotional support men. He stared at the screenshots for 10 whole minutes before finally asking me, "Was I really that pathetic?" I patted his shoulder kindly. "You were community property." He almost relapsed into hanging. But overall improvement. As for Emma, without unlimited money, Ryan dumped her within 2 weeks. Apparently love weakened under low financial conditions. Shocking. One night, I found her sitting alone in the garden crying quietly. Not manipulative crying this time. Just tired. Human. She looked up at me. You hate me, don't you? I thought about it seriously. Then sat beside her. No. She looked surprised. I continued honestly. You were just stupid in a different flavor. Emma stared at me blankly. Then suddenly laughed through tears. Real laughter. Messy laughter. The first genuine thing I'd seen from her. After that, things slowly got better. Not perfect. This family had enough emotional issues to start a hospital. But better. Dad stopped hiding at work. Mom stopped stress shopping luxury handbags. Jessica started eating actual food again. Jake stopped trying to romance women who treated him like a prepaid card. And me? I became the emotional support demon of the Johnson family. Every time someone started acting stupid, I appeared. Like a moral, questionable guardian spirit. Honestly, life was pretty good. Especially after Dad handed me another black card and said proudly, "Our daughter really knows how to cure people." I looked at the unlimited spending limit. Then at my deeply traumatized family. What a touching thing. Mutual exploitation truly was the purest form of love.